Hello, hello, hello. When it comes to weight loss, fast is slow and slow is fast. I love that saying and this concept. And it is so, so true. So, I am Dr. Stephanie Fine. I am here with you from Maintenance University, where I'm chief physician. And if you go to stephaniefinemd.com, you can sign up for the Ounce of Prevention, which you get in your inbox every Thursday morning. And then we come here at 12:30 on a Thursday and talk a little more in depth about it, because there are so many ways to lose weight and keep it off forever, and that is my goal in life, to help you do that. And fast is slow as fast is so important. So the idea is, if you do sort of crash diets in any way, that means trying to lose weight very quickly and restricting yourself in some major way where it feels like it's challenging. And the main feature about it is that you can't do it forever. So, like a keto or only having 500 calories, which I would never recommend, or something like that where you're just trying to drop the weight. That may feel fast because you will, if you have 500 calories a day, you will lose weight, not in a healthy way though. The reason why fast is slow is because you'll lose the weight and you'll gain it back. So if you're actually trying to lose weight permanently, yo-yoing, not the best way. And so that's why it's so slow. And in fact, I would argue that yo-yoing actually increases your weight ultimately. So what we really need to do when we're losing weight and keeping it off is figure out a way to lose it the way you were going to spend your whole life eating. Okay, so let's think about that. You literally have to get to the place where what you're eating is maintaining the weight you want. So if you're at a weight you don't want, you have to go from what you're eating now to what will sustain the weight you want to be. That's your whole job. And eventually you will be the way you want to be. If you get down to the amount of calories that sustains the body you want, then it will ultimately get there no matter how long it takes. Now, the how long it takes is the problem for a lot of people. And that's what I want to talk to you about. I want to have a mind thought shift, because no matter how long it takes, if you're losing along the way, first of all, you're losing so you weigh less the entire time, but also you are learning how to do it, and it doesn't matter how long it took. I gave the example of when I lost my 50 pounds, it took 2 years. 2 years for 50 pounds. A lot of people would say that's super slow. Did not bother me. Didn't bother me. First of all, I had 2 small kids, so I was running around like a crazy person. But second of all, so who knows about time? But second of all, doesn't matter, because that was 11 years ago and it's still off. So the 2 years is a blip compared to the 11 years keeping it off. That's what it ends up happening, right? Because we have decades in the body we want. The years to take it off, and nothing. And I know the issue is we want to get it off as quickly as possible, and that's part of the problem. When there's a disgust, and I know that's a strong word, but when there's that flavor of, I have to get this weight off as quickly as possible because I'm just disgusted, that's not a place for permanent weight loss. That's a self-hatred and a self-loathing and sort of an avoidance. And then we get into that cycle of punishing ourselves and judging ourselves, and then you can sometimes muscle your way into losing weight, but then you gain it right back, because that, as Louise Hay says, changes loved into being last. And when you make the changes out of disgust or judgment or whatever, they just don't last, because they have nothing to hold on to. When you do changes that are loved into being, like Louise Hay says, then you love them, and meaning you're happy with the choice. You made it freely. It was a great idea you had. You enjoy it. Think about that. That's amazing. Another example I have personally, I have other examples for you guys, is the idea of Pilates. So I started doing Pilates love Pilates. I just knew I needed to get strength. And when you're in maintenance, that's one of the things you add slowly when you're in maintenance. I don't necessarily recommend it when you're losing weight. And after a year of going twice a week, I dropped some weight. And I know it was the Pilates because basically my food was very similar. So again, that's another thing that I was willing to do Pilates. I was doing Pilates. I wasn't even looking necessarily for weight loss. I just knew I wanted to get some muscle. But doing that over and over again in a year, I lost weight. And that's the kind of thing I'm looking for. So one of the things I talked about is making a small change that you can have forever. So a small change you're happy with, not one that you're making yourself do where it feels terrible. And I posted it on Facebook, and a friend said that she could change her, instead of having 2 whole eggs, she could have egg whites, 1 egg and some egg whites. That is brilliant. That is exactly what I'm talking about. A tiny change that if you did that now for the next 2 years and everything else was exactly the same, you would lose weight. Isn't that crazy? Because it builds up, because we have time. Time is our friend and on our side for our health. So something simple like that. And another thing I did was, instead of, so I put 2 tablespoons of salad dressing in my salad. That's actually what I like, because I toss my salad. I don't like it too salad dressy. And one serving of salad dressing is 2 tablespoons. I started using 2 different salad dressings. One was really low calorie and one was a little higher, so it combined. And that's another thing now. I've done it for years. It really ends up making a difference. So I wanted to know if there's anything that you can think of that's a tiny little thing that would make you would not even notice it. And you start doing that in the new way for years and years and years. And when you do enough of those, it really ends up making a difference. Slow is fast, because now you're into different habits. When you lose your weight over time, it will stay off because you've done what needs to be done. It will stay off. It's not coming back because you've now set up your life in a way that supports that weight loss. I love it. So here's some more ideas. Let me look. Seconds. So I have another client who stopped getting seconds. That's pretty major, and she worked on it a little bit, but you could see like she had a plate of food that was fine for dinner, and not going back for seconds made a really big difference, as you can imagine. And she started to not miss it really quickly. So portions are another one. If you just start to notice your portions, some people don't like measuring, but measuring can be a fantastic way. You start to notice like, oh, I was having way more than I thought, or more than a serving. And then you just start to go to a serving and notice that you're satisfied with that. You're not deprived. You're still having that food. It's just in a portion that's a little smaller. And fresh fruit instead of dried fruit. If you could change that, any sort of cheese, you could change that. A nut, you can change that. I mean, any little tweaks all make a difference. And they shouldn't be ones that feel depriving. Like, oh, every time I have I wanted a dried apricot and now I have a fresh apricot. I mean, if that feels terrible, then don't pick that one. But if it doesn't, that's a perfect one to choose. So, slow is fast and fast is slow. And any little tweaks that you can make over time add up, and then we're permanently losing the weight, which is our goal, permanently losing the weight. I love talking about that with you. I welcome any questions anytime. Post it in the Facebook group. We have a Facebook group, Maintenance University Facebook group. You can join right there, www.maintenanceuniversityfacebookgroup.com. It'll take you right to sign up. I am sending you love. Little tweaks will make a big difference. Bye.